Choosing a domain name. Optional business models. Many web-based businesses fail because they do not have a functional business model. Before you even choose a name for your site, you should know your target audience, what you intend to sell to them, and what will make your business idea unique or different than everything else that is already on the market. You can still make significant profits without being sure what you want to sell if you can solve large problems and make life easier for a group of targeted people. At any level, you still have to know your goals and the reasons why you are creating a site. What makes your site different than the millions of sites already published? My first few sites failed because they had no functional business models. They added little value to the web. That is not to say that I didn't learn from them, because I did, but they led me to creating this one. If you are uncertain of yourself, don't be afraid to create multiple channels just to try them out. If you know you want to do something for the long run, you may want to spend a bit of time. Before you pick a domain name, it helps to know your target audience, what you intend to sell to them, and what makes your site unique or different than everything else that is already on the market. 44. Watching the marketplace before pouring too much effort into making a huge site that is hard to update. SEObook.com has done exceptionally well, and it has even revived the value and business models of some of my other sites. The single biggest thing I have going for me is the social currency my blog has created. A horrible domain idea. Some people think it is incredibly important to have keywords in a domain. People purchase domains like LOOK-4-BUY-CHEAP-DISCOUNT-VIAGRA-ONLINE-PHARMACY.com. This is a horrible domain name. An exact matching domain name in a competitive market can be seen by Google as a signal of quality, since acquiring one would either indicate that you were early to the market or paid a premium for the URL. Some strong .com names sell for millions of dollars, while associated .net and .org domains can range from a few $100s to $100,000. If your site exhibits a number of strong brand-related characteristics, such as high search volume for brand-related keywords, high click-through rate for core brand-related searches, many repeat visitors, or relevant matching URL and / or anchor text, there is a good chance that Google will place a set of site links in the search results for brand-related search queries. For example, if someone searches for SEO book, Google shows the following as the top result. Keywords in the domain name may help some, as people tend to link to websites using their official names as the link text, but if I were going to create a long-term business, I would put brand above keyword rich, unless you can find a name that exactly matched your core keywords or something that allows you to leverage both assets. If you are creative, you usually can get keywords in the domain while keeping it short, memorable, fairly brandable, and free of hyphens. Here is an article about the effect of domain names on anchor text. http://www.search-marketing.info/newsletter/article/domain-name.htm right parenthesis. Since I originally wrote the article, Google has gotten a lot better at detecting natural. 45. Linkage data, so it is important to ensure you mix your inbound link text. Tips on mixing anchor text are located in the link building sections of this ebook. Domain names. Direct marketing mail campaigns usually peak in effectiveness around the third exposure to a marketing message. Many shoppers look around. If you want them to come back, you want to have a domain name that will stick in their heads. It can have keywords in it, but the thing you want more than anything else is a name that sticks. If the option between having the dash in the domain and not having a dash exists, you are probably better off going without the dash, as it looks more professional and would most likely be more memorable. It is branding suicide to only have users find your site via search engines. If you are hoping to make sales on the first view in search engines, you need strong copywriting and usability. If you are just using quick buck lead generation websites, then you may want to use a keyword-rich hyphenated domain for the small benefit it may offer, but in most cases, I do not recommend a hyphenated domain name for long-term websites. Long versus short URLs. People will forget the words in a domain name that is exceptionally long. Another problem with exceptionally long URLs is that they get cut off in emails and some other data transmission types. If you make the idea hard to spread, then you limit your site's potential income. The best of both worlds. What if you could get some of the benefits of a long keyword-rich domain while still using a shorter and easy-to-brand domain name? You can. If you use a short, branded domain, you can still include your keywords in your page title and logo to help control how some people link at your site. For example, a company like PayPal can register the domain paypal.com, but put the words payment solutions or online payments in their logo near the word PayPal. Some people will reference them with those words as part of the company name. Search engines associate words that occur near one another. For example, Google showed the following as suggested advertisements. On the far right, notice how Google realized that my name and the name of my strongest brand are related. Using your keywords in your domain name can increase click-through rates on search engine listings and paid ads, as well as make it easier to get keyword-rich inbound links. But you want to consider balancing the effects on brand and your long-term goals before deciding what name to use. 46. If you can work your name or your company name into the default topical vocabulary of a search, you will have a strong advantage over your competitors. Location and top-level domain, TLD, selection. Some regional-based search engines or indexes will only list sites that are registered in their country code. If your site exclusively or primarily caters to a specific country, then you will most likely want to register a domain using the local country code. Some search engines will still show your site in regional-based search results if your site is hosted within that country, has links to and from other local sites, and / or has your address and phone number in the page text, but many directories are extremely picky and will only list regional domains. As search progresses, localization of results will become more common. Some of the major search engines already give sites a regional ranking boost based upon where the site is hosted and the domain extension. If you develop a regional domain, .co.uk for example, I also suggest buying the .com version of your domain, if it is available, and forwarding it to the regional domain you registered. By buying the .com version and forwarding it your site, you help retain traffic you may have lost by people forgetting to put your region-specific domain extension in their address bar when they type the website address directly into the address bar. I prefer to use a .com version of a URL over other generic TLDs. People may assume your site is a .com even if it is .net, .biz, .org, or .info when they go to look for it on the web. If all they remember is your domain name, they may type your domain name followed by .com because .com is the default TLD in most people's heads. If you don't own the .com version as well, you are giving some of your hard-earned traffic to a competitor. If you are running a charity or organizational website, a .org may be seen by some people as a sign of credibility. It is a good idea to place your business location on your web pages. If you are in a country where the search technology is primitive, local searchers will frequently add the country or city name to their searches, and if you have them on your pages, you stand to be returned as a relevant result for more searches. Have a site for each language. Many hucksters sell some translational cross-submission products that are complete bunk. Essentially, you pay them money to accept your check and nothing more. Search engines typically do not translate text on the fly when people search. It is too computationally expensive. 47. If you use automated software to copy your text into a different language, it is likely to read clumsily and turn people off. You are better off not having the text on the web if you do not have a person fluent in the language proof the final page copy. If you have significant content and target audiences in different languages, then usually you will want to have a different subdomain or site for each language or major market. This will make it easier to get links from the different geographic or ethnic communities you are interested in without the losing focus of your site. It also makes it easy for engines to understand the clear divisions in your site. Subdomains and local markets. Subdomains are best to use if you have a small amount of content about each market. If you have significant content for each market, it may make more sense to create a site for each market. If your site is in an exceptionally competitive category and you have many links that would be hard to replicate, then you might want to use folders, or possibly subdomains, on your main site for each language instead of trying to build up the link popularity of many different sites. UK English is much different than English in the United States. Even within the same language you may need multiple versions to cater to different dialects, customs, and tastes. Subdomains in general. If your main site is a thin e-commerce site, or if it lacks authority, it might make sense to keep most of your authoritative content together with the low authority content. But if your site has great authority, then using a subdomain for some of your content should allow you to get more listings in the search results. An advantage of placing some of your content on a subdomain is that if you have a strong brand and the subdomain is also authoritative, then when people search for your brand, some search engines will feature both your domain and the subdomain at the top of the search results, and searchers will have to scroll a long way down to find competing sites or sites that are critical of your brand. Branding your domain name any more than about 2 or 3 words in a domain name and it becomes less memorable. Some of the most memorable websites do a great job of branding by creating their own word: eBay, Skype, PayPal, Yahoo, Expedia, Slashdot, Fark, Travelocity, Google. However, most successful businesses are soft innovations. They may not be able to afford the time, money, and effort required to create, brand, and add a new word to our language. You can create a name that is well related to something people already know. It is easier to market corn sugar than it is to market fructose. 48. If you are not going to develop a strong brand, then using keywords in your domain name may give you a competitive advantage in search results. Having your keywords in your domain name can increase click-through rates on search engine listings and paid ads, as well as make it easier to get keyword-rich descriptive inbound links. If your brand is exceptionally strong and your content quality is second to none, you still can rank well in search results after enough related resources reference your site, even if most references do not mention the keywords you want to rank for. Google's search algorithms have moved toward pushing natural authority sites even if they do not have much relevant anchor text. Branding your site a keyword-rich domain name will make it easy to get inbound link text with your primary keywords in them, but don't forget that your domain name also plays a role in your branding. Your domain name should have your branding in mind, as it can help reinforce the ideals of your brand. On the web there are many different business ideas or business models. If low cost is your business model, then you will find people who are willing to work for half your wage that will slash throats to get by on razor-thin margins. It is not a way to enjoy life. Someone can always do your job cheaper. For example, Google turned labeling images into a game. Now thousands of people are labeling images, for free, to improve Google's image search relevancy. You can take a look at this process by visiting http://images.google.com/image-labeler. Branding is one of the most important parts of building any website or web-based business, and it is what allows you to establish healthy profit margins. Every Monday, Rob Frankel holds free branding clinics on his website. I recommend going to at least one of them and asking a question or two. He also wrote a great branding book by the name of The Revenge of Brand X. Leaving the keyword out, the site is not seriously launched yet, but a cool domain name for a site about sleeping might be something like likeababy.com. Using a creative name makes it easier to build a memorable brand than just focusing on keyword phrases. Branding to an audience segment. A guy I met did not have a large marketing budget, but wanted to market a video clip idea. I thought that it would be a great idea to use the viral nature of blogs to market the initial product, i.e., let the bloggers market the product for us by word of mouth, because word of mouth spreads like wildfire. I came up with the name blogflix.net. The site later went under after some technical errors, but within a few months of being finished, it was featured on popular sites such as Smart Mobs. 49. The right domain name. I either make my domain names define themselves exactly, or I think of a creative way to state its purpose. Your best bet is to think of a name that is an extension of who you are. A short and easy to remember URL is friendly to word-of-mouth marketing. Would you feel better referring a friend to seobook.com or SEO-engineoptimization-marketing-book.com? Which would be easier to remember and say? If you make a message hard to spread, then it will probably spread at a slower rate. Buying multiple names. Oftentimes it is worth it to buy multiple domain names, even if you do not use them all. By securing multiple domain names, you can decide to use some of your secondary domains to cover similar thematically related topics and prevent competitors from purchasing the name. Within 6 months of my starting the seobook.com website, someone was already spamming me trying to sell me seobooks.com. I should have spent the additional $8 to register that domain from the start. You also may want to buy a generic name and the domain name that matches your business, and direct them both to the same location. Example of breaking ideas down into niche sites. I do not recommend buying multiple domain names exclusively for deceptive practices. Many of my sites are about SEO, but you can break ideas down to their core and make useful sites in less competitive markets. For example, one site I own is search-marketing.info. This site is similar to the contents of this ebook, although the site is somewhat dated. That site is not a well-branded name. I had many concepts on that site that later were extracted and made into their own sites. I had a blog at search-marketing.info, the blog was not successful. I moved the blog from that site to seobook.com, and it has likely become one of the top half-dozen most popular blogs in the SEO industry. I had a directory list on search-marketing.info. I decided to turn that list into a directory of directories, and created that idea at directoryarchives.com. I listed some bad SEO practices on my search-marketing.info. I decided to turn that idea into blackhatseo.com. 50. Each of the last 3 sites occasionally spikes in popularity and helps give me a multi-brand approach. I would not be nearly as successful if I kept all of those ideas inside my first site. When you spin out micro-domains, they allow you to try to be humorous or different without necessarily having as much impact on your root brand as if you said and did the same things on your main business site. There are also tactical business reasons for using multiple sites. For example, if what you are doing might get you sued, it may make sense to put it on a non-income generating site to try to make it easier to get free legal help if the lawsuit is bogus. Generic names versus unique names. Some businesses will require brand development to become successful. Being a branded SEO makes it far easier to charge a fair rate for my services than if I was unbranded. My original website, http://www.search-marketing.info, is really a weak brand and was a huge mistake. I like the idea of creating things that I think add long-term value to the web, so I usually opt for branded names over generic names. There is more than one way to skin a cat, and the same idea can be said for picking a domain name. If you aim to extract long-term profits and want to make the site you are working on become your career, then you want to pick a name that is not overly generic. Before you pick a name or start building sites, you should decide what your goals are for the site. If you are unsure what type of site you want to make or why you want to make it, you may want to participate in web communities to find problems that need solutions and create a personal site until you find what you want to do. Creating a topical website network. Note, this is an advanced SEO technique most webmasters do not need to do. With how many pages there are on the web, quality will usually win over quantity. With that being said, sometimes it will make sense to have multiple, similar websites covering slightly different topics. Doing this can help you create topically authoritative inbound links to different sites in your network and give you a multi-branded approach to marketing. However, you want to make sure your sites are all different and unique. If your sites are extremely similar, then your sites may receive a spam penalty or have the nepotistic link popularity discounted. Even worse is that if you interlink them all, then all of your sites could get penalized at the same time. 51. Those using strong brands and good ideas can usually do well without creating a topical network. If you create a topical network expressly to deceive search engines, then you are taking a risk and your sites may get removed from the search indexes. In addition, some search engine relevancy algorithms, such as Google's current algorithm, tend to favor one authoritative domain over using many smaller similar domains. Many of the more aggressive techniques are used by people who create crash and burn domain names. They use a site until it gets penalized and then use a new one. They actually start building up multiple other sites and networks before the first even gets penalized. If your brand and domain name are important to you, then make sure you use caution to protect them. How you wrap/package/sell the content is important. Many blog networks seem to be able to get away with murder right now because they are called a blog network. Other publishers that have tried similar network approaches have got banned for it. Over time, how blogs are treated may change though, and any way you slice it, you still need to get links from outside your network. Keep the following in mind when developing a website network. Make unique sites. Make sure each site is unique enough that it can stand on its own merit. Only cross-link the sites where it is logical. Blogs being part of a blog network might be considered legitimate cross-linking if it does not look like it was primarily done to spam the engines. Use various hosts. This way, if any of your sites go down, not all of your sites are down. Also, some search algorithms can devalue links that come from sites hosted on the same C-block IP address. Some hosts also provide random C-block IP addresses for each of your sites for a rather reasonable price on a single account. Get inbound links from external sources. Register your sites with directories and other topical sites to make sure you have plenty of inbound links into your link network. This will help prevent your sites from looking like an isolated island or link farm. Use various link sources. Each of your sites should have many unique link sources outside of your network. Do not interlink hundreds of domains together unless you are actively trying to get penalized. If you are creating and interlinking sites exclusively for the reason to manipulate search results, then you stand a good chance to eventually be penalized. 52. You probably do not want to use the same HOI data on a large number of sites if the sites are made with deceptive intent. Additionally, you may want to register sites at a variety of registrars so that there is no discernible pattern. If you register a ton of your domains via proxy and cross-link them, that too can look somewhat suspicious. Registering domains: I usually register my domains at http://www.godaddy.com because they have reasonable prices. Please note that GoDaddy has a shady policy of holding domains hostage if they suspect you of using the domain to spam. It has not hit me yet, but many of the more aggressive search marketers recommend moniker.com. If you know you want to stick with a domain name for an extended period of time, it makes sense to register the domain for a number of years. Many low-quality crash and burn type sites are not registered for a number of years, so some search systems may give a small amount of additional trust to domain names that are registered through many years. Domain registration versus hosting: I like to keep hosting and registration separate. Whenever you register a domain, make sure you register it at an ICANN-accredited registrar. Whenever you host a domain, use a reliable host. It is usually a bad idea to cross the two. When people register a site at a host, it may be hard to renew registration if you want to change hosting providers. Buy hosting from a host and not from a registrar. Many registrars do not have good technical support and do not place enough value on their hosted clients either.